Question, are you older, say over 55, over 60, maybe even over 70? How about that? And you are wanting to get back in the workforce. You may want to get back in the workforce to supplement your Social Security. You may want to get back in the workforce to supplement your retirement. You may want to get back in the workforce to supplement both Social Security and your retirement. Or you may just enjoy working, appreciate working, like to be around other people, during the day, like when we were working, because I'm retired. Like when we were working, we had our co-workers say good morning, how you doing, how was your weekend, having social events and activities with them, just seeing the public versus staying at home, being retired or not working. So if that's your situation, you have come to the right place, because I want to share with you some hopeful tips for looking for work. And I have started dedicating my YouTube channel to helping older workers find work and feel hopeful. And, I was getting a lot of comments from older workers saying they lost their sense of hope. They were doubtful if they could find meaningful employment. They were feeling frustrated. And so I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm an older worker. I check all the boxes, but I have been quite successful, I must say, without boasting, and I'm still being able to get the interview, get hired, and, the rest is history. But I have been a career advisor, a job coach for over 25 years and counting. So I have a lot of good information to share with you. So you want to stick with me. And, I don't, let's put it this way. I'm a keep it real person. So I'm not out for the numbers and just saying anything just to, what do they call it? Clickbait. This is not clickbait. This is to help individuals look for work and who are looking for work rather, find meaningful employment. Because, when you're out there looking and you're older and you're thinking, this is a youth-oriented society, which it is, let's keep it real, then you're thinking, wow, what chance do I have? Well, I'm here to tell you, you have a chance. But let me start on my topic for this particular video, and that is on self-care. What is self-care? Means not letting yourself go. What does that mean? Don't let yourself go. What does it mean? So, I happen to be a slender build, and I'm not boasting or anything. It's just, my makeup, and I watch my diet and all that. I'm not extreme. But I remember when I was growing up, my stepmama said to me, when I was about 12 years old, she said, you wait. I remember, I never forget this. She said, you wait, when you get old, you're going to get fat too. And I thought to myself, even then I thought, does everybody have to just get fat? Now, I'm not here to put down anybody. Please don't get me wrong. Do not get me wrong. But where I want to go with this is taking care of yourself. If you have a little bit extra weight on you, well, that's just the way it is. But taking care of yourself. This morning, I decided to, I was watching my grandson because he's been out of school. He hasn't started school yet. He'll be starting, as a matter of fact, tomorrow. I kind of miss the little guy. I live in close proximity to my daughter-in-law and my son-in-law. This 9 houses away, as a matter of fact. So I've been watching him for the last 3 days. We've been having a blast. He's been talking to me and teaching me about his drone. So that's been quite interesting. But this morning I got up and I said, well, I won't have a whole lot of time to really, do the exercise that I would normally do. So I'm going to go for a walk in my neighborhood. And I normally just put on, walking clothes, typically some black gym kind of clothes, legging type of clothes, not really the real tight leggings, but just, something very comfortable and a t-shirt. But today I said, you know what, I'm going to pick it up a little bit. I'm going I'm going to upgrade a little bit, even though I'm walking. I wasn't jogging. I was just going for a walk, and then in my neighborhood, you walk down for about 8 blocks, and then there's this circle, and people walk around the grass circle. That's meant, I guess, people just, they go there, and there's a bench you can sit down, and there used to be a pond there. But anyway, I walked there, and then I walked around the circle for about 6 times, and they said you walk 6 times, that's a mile. So I walked about 2 miles. But on my way, when I was walking, this young man, well, he wasn't so young, this older man, probably, senior, he said, "Hey," this is what he said to me, "you sure are looking good this morning." I said, "Well, I decided to fix up." How about that? That's an old school term. I said, "I decided to fix up this morning." He said, "Well, you did a good job of it." And then he started telling me, he said, "You know what? I've changed my life, and I've done a lot of things to change my situation." He said, "I've done a lot." And he was just kind of talking to me from a distance, and I kind of stopped to hear what he had to say. He said, "Because you know what? I'm getting older, and I don't want to be all bent over and having to use certain walking apparatus when I can help myself at this point in terms of doing things for my body." He was saying all this while I was, out walking. I said, "I get it. I understand." He said, "So I appreciate you getting out and walking." And I got it. I understood exactly what he was saying. So what I want to say to you is this: take care of your body. So, I remember when we were growing up, and, I'm talking to older adults now, we only had desserts on Sunday. We didn't have a cabinet full of cookies and pies and donuts and candy and all of that ongoing. We didn't have it. We had Sunday dinner and a peach cobbler or a pound cake. Yeah, that was pretty, or something along those lines. But the household did not continually have sweets on top of sweets on top of sweets. Every single day you open up the cabinet and sweets are just about falling out at you. And in addition, we're living in a age now where there's a lot of junk food that's not really intended, well, I shouldn't say that, food that's not your food body friendly. Let's put it this way. And then don't get me wrong, I bought a bag of Barbara's or somebody's potato chips today. It's the better potato chip, the barbecue potato chip, without all the junk in it, but every once in a while I want to munch on some barbecue potato chips or, whatever else, a cookie or whatever. So I'm not extreme. But what I want to say is, if you're looking for work, you want to look your best. Even if you're not looking for work, we want to look our best. We want to feel our best as we get older. We want to honor our body and take care of it. It's our temple. When I get up in the morning, and I do my shower, I've been doing this for a while. I thank THANK my body. I thank my voluntary and involuntary functions of my body. I thank my internal and external functions of my body. I thank my legs. I thank my toes. I thank my wonderfully great mind. I just, the fact that I'm in my right mind as an older adult, and I have a sister, unfortunately, she's a little bit older than me, and she's been slipping for a while. I mean, slipping, but she's not doing much for herself. Sitting around crying, saying, "Woe is me because I'm getting older." Well, there is an alternative, So I just want to recommend, if you're not doing, maybe you're already doing this. Maybe you're already going out for your walks, and there's a beautiful park, I think it's 63 acres, probably about 5 minutes away from me. And I live in Southern California, so there's lots of palm trees. And I don't go walking with anybody, and I turn my phone off unless I'm expecting a very important phone call. But 99% of the time, my phone is off. Most of the time, 100%. I'll check my messages later. And I just want to get out and walk and just keep walking and keep walking and keep walking and just look up sometime at the beautiful palm trees, look up at the sky and just inhale and breathe, take in some fresh air because there's beautiful trees all around, and that's a perfect place to do your breathing. You get all this air, this cleanse from the trees. So, you don't have to get out and run a marathon or anything like that. Also, so aside from getting out, taking a good walk, at least 30 minutes, and you don't have to do it every single day, but make it a routine or a lifestyle. Take care of yourself. Do your best to look good. You're going for an interview. Interviewers don't want to hire somebody looking like Mother Time or Father Time, unless you got skills up the yin yang and they, and they don't care. But you want to look your best. You want to feel your best, and this just goes for just living in general. But, so you're out there, so you want to look for work and you're thinking of, what is it that you need to do in order to, be successful in landing a job? One of the things is you want to feel good. You don't want to feel like, oh, well, I got all this weight, or I got all this blah, blah, or I got all this, whatever you have, feel good about it. And if you don't feel good about it, do something about it. Do something. If you don't feel good about it, do something about it, and don't sit around complaining about it. That's what I have to say. I have the opposite experience of some people. Sometimes my daughter will say, "Mama, you need to eat something because you're looking like you ain't having enough food." Because I have a slender build and a quick metabolism, and that can work against me, and it's because I'm tall and I don't want to start looking like a beanpole. I mean, I'm not trying to insult anybody. I'm just keeping it real. We're all different in how we want to look, and all different makeups and metabolisms, and that's just the way it is. We're all different in terms of our makeup. So there's no one size fit all, but there is a one size fit all in terms of taking care of oneself. Not just, eating anything and sitting up watching, the news all day, or on the internet, the TikTok and Instagram, and who did what to whom, and he said, she said. No. So part of the self-care is also, aside from physical, it's also mental. What you take in. There was a trial recently, and I'm not going to go into details, and I started watching that trial every day. I couldn't wait to get the latest details on it, and it got pretty gruesome, not gruesome, but just like, okay, and I said, well, I'm going to stop watching this trial, the daily updates on that trial, because it's just, it's not doing anything for me, and it's so, repulsive, a lot of the things that were happening, that was being discussed and brought into evidence in the trial. And I said, what is it doing to my mind? What is it doing up here? I don't need all that garbage in my head. I want something fresh. I want something that's renewing, and not just something that's going to be lower level self, that lack of spirituality and just anything goes kind of. And I said, I don't want that in my head. So self-care is not just physical, but it's also mental, psychological, emotional. So you're looking for work. You want to start taking care of yourself. So, you can feel like when you have that opportunity to meet with that employer, you feel like I'm at my best. I'm at my best, and I'm here to present my best to you. So anyway, I just was thinking about taking care of oneself, and, you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of expensive equipment. This is something I have, and I've had it for a number of years now. I have a trampoline. I don't mean a big old huge trampoline, but I mean one that's probably maybe about 6 feet off the ground. How about that? It's a circular trampoline, and I just get on it sometime and walk for 30 minutes. Or sometimes I do a little bit of a not a jog, but just a walk kind of fast, And it's just, you can't hurt yourself. And there actually are trampolines, the same kind that I described, a smaller trampoline that has bars on the side. So if you needed to hold on, but you can have that in your living room. You can have it in your bedroom. You can have it on your balcony. You can have it, in your wherever in your garage, and you're gonna get everything moving. You're gonna get the heart circulating, cardio. You're gonna get all of the mental, emotional, all the physical, everything that needs to start moving. And then you put your hands up and cross your hands while you're walking and do whatever, swing your arms and all of that on this little trampoline. So it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but just taking care of yourself throughout this journey of growing older and also wanting to be marketable. So I'm going to leave it right there. Hopefully you got a few little nuggets out of this or some encouragement. And this is all about self-care, tips on self-care. And the other thing I want to say is, if you need to, like if you have an opportunity to present yourself to an employer, if you need to have a little bit of a makeover, then I suggest you do that. So you're not trying to look like you're 20. Let's put it that way. But at the same time, you don't want to look like mother time and father time. You want to look contemporary. You want to look like you got some life left in you, not like sitting there like, okay, well, I used to work at the... No, you want to, look and feel good, from head to toe. Alrighty, my name is Maria. If you like what you heard, please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and I will be happy to get back with you. Alright, so I hope this little pep talk had gotten you off the sofa, got you off the internet, TikTok, and whatever else, Instagram, and all of the above, and get out and enjoy life, mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual upliftment. Here we go. All right. I hope to see you at the top, because that's where I hang out. All right. Bye-bye for now. Maria signing off.